Ben Whittaker is a professional boxer who's caught the eye of a lot of boxing fans in recent years, and he did this by incorporating two things in his boxing style: having dominant wins while showboating at the same time. But how does someone go from this type of performance
exactly what boxing needs
to this type of performance?
Oh, and wait a minute! They've gone Royal Rumble WWE style.
In this video, we're going to break down how one of boxing's hyped up prospects eventually got fraud checked in the most embarrassing fashion. But before we dive into this one, if you hit the like and subscribe button, that would help massively with the algorithm. I do release new fight content videos weekly. With that being said, let's get into it. Ben Whittaker's rise in boxing started with an impressive amateur career where he represented Great Britain in several international competitions. Whittaker was born in Wolverhampton, England, and began boxing at a young age. His amateur career is highlighted by his success at the international level. Whittaker gained significant recognition at the 2019 World Championships, where he won a silver medal in the light heavyweight division. However, his most notable achievement came during the 2020 Tokyo Olympics held in 2021 due to COVID-19 pandemic. Competing in the light heavyweight category, Whittaker again secured a silver medal, losing to Cuba's Arlen Lopez in the final. Despite the loss, Whittaker's performance was impressive, and he became a fan favorite for his entertaining style and confidence. After the Tokyo Olympics, Ben Whittaker signed a promotional deal with the well-known boxer promotional team and began training under the guidance of Sugar Hill Stewart, a team trainer known for his work with heavyweight champion or former champion Tyson Fury. Whittaker made his professional debut in July 2022, fighting on the undercard of a big event in Bournemouth, UK. He won his debut by knockout, showcasing his power, athleticism, and slick movements. His charisma, both in the ring and during interviews, helped him quickly gain a following. Whittaker is known for his flamboyant style, combining slick defensive skills with flashy offense. He often fights with his hands down, relying on reflexes to slip punches and counter. His ability to switch stances along with his speed makes him unpredictable and difficult for opponents to prepare for. His showmanship, whether in his flashy entrance, trash talk, or in-ring antics, has drawn comparisons to fighters like Naseem Hamed and Floyd Mayweather Jr. Now, even though Whittaker has always been known for his flashy showboating style, there are three major fights which literally created viral moments for him throughout his career and brought more attention to him in the recent years. In the sixth professional fight of Ben Whittaker, he faced Khalid Gradia. Hate it or love it, Whittaker was showing a lot of fantastic showboating while punishing Khalid at the same time. This was the first time he actually put himself out there and made his most impressive performance when it comes to showboating and having a dominant performance at the same time. It was like Khalid had nothing for him, and it was more embarrassing on Khalid's side for the fact that he was showboating. Whittaker landed so many jabs, so many hooks to the body. He eventually landed a powerful left hook that made Khalid take a knee. Khalid got back up and continued fighting, but Whittaker found his rhythm and kept on going, putting on a massive performance. It was so entertaining that the referee himself got frustrated at some point, told Whittaker to focus on the fight, but he kept on going. Eventually, the fight looked so one-sided, with a lot of powerful punches landing on Khalid from Whittaker. The referee had to step in and end the fight. Ben Whittaker would go ahead and face Leon Willins on March 31st, 2024. Once again, Whittaker would put on a fantastic performance, landing a lot of powerful jabs, hooks to the body, cornering Willins and the ropes several times until he eventually took a knee and got a countdown from the referee. Willins tried his best to be defensive and avoid Ben's shot, but Ben always found a way to put him against the ropes and land a bunch of combinations. The fight ended up being one-sided, and even though Ben was landing a lot of powerful shots, he actually didn't finish Willens, but he did win a comfortable unanimous decision. A few months later, Ben Whittaker would go ahead and face Nigerian boxer Eruwais Ezra Onyeka, who was at this point kind of a knockout artist. He had won about 10 of his 12 fights by KOs. This was a different fighter than the last few fights which Ben had faced, as Ezra tried his best to sneak in powerful punches to Ben, but Ben kept his composure and would land clean counter strikes. And as the fight went on, the counter punches looked more beautiful. And then eventually the fight looked one-sided on Ben Whittaker's end. Ben would then start showboating and feeling confident. At one point in the fight, Ben would escort Ezra to his corner and then got a headbutt from Ezra out of frustration. But as the fight went on, Ben got more confidence while Ezra looked even more tired. And eventually, Ben would land a fury of shots, one landing to the liver that was obviously an impactful shot that took the breath out of Ezra. And the fight went on the same one-way streak. Again, Ben Whittaker winning a comfortable unanimous decision on the card. Ben Whittaker has always had the entertaining showboating boxing style, and whether you love it or hate it, like I said, he still dominated his opponents, which made it even more embarrassing for them. His showboating and performance became more frequent until a certain fight occurred in which his opponent completely exposed him and showed he had a lot of flaws and a lot to improve on. On October 12, 2024, Ben Whittaker would face Liam Cameron in the undercard of Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol, and this is the fight where he was absolutely embarrassed. Cameron had given the 27-year-old Whittaker a much tougher test than most expected coming into the fight. Right from the start of the fight, Cameron was the slower fighter, but he always found a way to pick and land his shots effectively. While watching the fight, you would think Whittaker would eventually find his pace and confidence, but the situation stayed the same, with Whittaker missing a lot of his shots while trying to dodge Cameron's shots at the same time, but moving his head towards the power shots. By the third round, it seemed like Whittaker would start having more success, but it was never as definitive as his previous fights, because Cameron would always catch him with more impactful counter strikes. Although Cameron's face was bleeding, he managed to bury a pair of lefts deep into Whittaker's abdomen. It was not a one-way street. For example, in the 5th round, Whittaker missed his right-hand throw and Cameron scored with his. In front of a small audience, Whittaker was beginning to appear agitated and disoriented, so the referee verbally warned him for straying low with his shots. At the end of the 5th round of their light heavyweight fight, Liam Cameron pressed fellow British boxer Ben Whittaker against the ropes, and of course, physics took over. Both fighters tumbled over the top rope and crashed into the ring platform. Whittaker was hot, but Cameron sluggishly got up first. Whittaker saying he could not go on, he showed off an injured leg. Whittaker, who appeared to injure his right leg, seemed to be in some pain, and even though the referee gave it a little time, it became obvious Whittaker wasn't really able or wasn't trying to continue the fight. In my opinion, I feel like Whittaker kind of felt or knew he was actually losing that fight, and he took this opportunity to back out, maybe hoping for a DQ or for them to take their lock going to the scorecards. The bout proceeded to the scorecards following 5 rounds, with the scores ending in a technical split draw at 58-57 each and 58-58. Cameron called Whittaker out, saying he didn't want no more, he had nothing left, he was knackered. I definitely beat him, I don't get a fair share, what more do I have to do? Whittaker experienced yet another viral moment, albeit not the kind the West Midlands comedian would have preferred. The extroverted Olympian from 2020 had a lot of trouble with Cameron early on, but the surgeon lost. But hey, on paper, it was a draw, and I believe they are set to have that rematch, so Whittaker cannot avoid this fight going on a second time. Eventually, the doctor's report came out that Whittaker had some injuries in his neck and his back, which is kind of funny because during the fight, he made it seem like it was his right leg that was hurt. But now the medical reports are coming out and saying something different. So it even proves my point that this was just an excuse and a way to back out. Me personally, I'm actually a fan of Ben Whittaker and I've been keeping a close eye on him. But this was an embarrassing fraud check, if I'm being objective. Was this an off night for Ben Whittaker, or was he cocky this whole time and eventually just got fraud checked? Do you think he can come back from this, or this is the height of his career? I definitely think even though it was a fraud check, he can absolutely bounce back, have a dominant win, a few dominant wins, reduce the showboating a little bit and focus on his fundamentals and what he needs to improve on. Now, with that being said, he was exposed a lot in this fight. Aside from him quitting and backing out, he had a lot of deficiencies in his skill set. So even though we can call this a fraud check, we wouldn't really say that definitively until his next fights. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. I would love to hear your opinions. And again, don't forget to like the video. If you like the video, hit the subscribe button and I'll see you guys later.